I got nothing to say anymore.
Oh God. Every time we get into something real and someone hits record, then everything is just, everybody's got to be silly now. It's got to be silly. There can't be any fucking honesty on this goddamn podcast. And that's the fucking problem.
Would you like to know the real thing that I was going to talk about?
Yes.
Okay. About 30 minutes ago, my hands started to hurt, and so did my arms, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I had pushed the sleeves up on my sweatshirt, and I cut the circulation off to my hands.
So were your hands going numb? Like if you left it long enough, would they just fall off?
No, they were just sore. I wasn't like if they were going numb, I would have figured it out like pins and needles. But they just got really sore. And this sweatshirt has extremely like almost dangerously strong elastic at the sleeves.
Is it no fear gear?
No.
It sounds like you're just really weak, Brian.
It sounds like you have a Bad Boys Club sweatshirt.
I wonder why I didn't want to talk about this. That's weird.
Hey, do you know what happens when millennials are about to have a stroke? What they smell avocado toast. What? Sing.
That's
fuck you, man. I'm up here telling the truth.
That's pretty good. I think you're the first person who's thought to comment on generational differences like that. And it's cool you found a way to really tie it to the generation you're talking about. I appreciate your style of humor. It's very funny.
I know it is. Guys, I had an office party and I've had a drink or two. This was a proper holiday party.
And just so I can make sure that we're all on the same page, the reason you're running late is because you were at a party?
Yes, I was at work.
No, I just want to make sure.
Do you know what politicking is?
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Did I mention that my hands and arms got really sore earlier? Have I talked about that yet?
God damn it!
That really hurt. I'm gonna intentionally do it just so you.
Oh boy, man!
I want you guys to see. I want you to see how deep of a divot.
Not only were you in the military, but you also had this crazy thing happen to you.
That's right. This is all about me steering the conversation back to me by discussing my overly tight sleeves.
Yes. Yeah.
Was he in the military? I thought it was like those militia guys who
it's just that weird thing. If I get in trouble when I talk about a serious deadly allergy that I have, and then he got a sweater from, where's it from, Brian? Banana Republic? Is it
No, it's like a cheapy Amazon thing. It probably costs $9, which is probably why it is damaging my arms even as we speak, just to make a point.
A lot of those Amazon sweaters have killed a lot of people. So
a lot of those are made by the Uyghurs in China. I
right. No, I always look and see where stuff's made before I purchase it. This was made in Bangladesh.
What do you know about Bangladesh and how they treat their workers there?
Yeah,
they treat them very well. Mm-hmm. It's a peace-loving nation. It's a peaceful, peace-loving nation. It's really a utopia, as far as I know. As far as I know. Man, it's really starting to bite in, guys. I can't wait till you see this.
What do you need to call the fucking ambulance to come over and rip those sleeves off?
No.
If I cut them away with the jaws of life.
If I flex, that might happen.
I got some buddies in the fire department, and we'll get a couple big rigs over there.
That's right. Do you know them from all of your fake tomato allergy calls?
No.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I know them from when they called and asked me advice on how to save people.
No, it's called. They have a little Post-it in their front often Can't figure it out? Call Mike.
And that happens all the time, especially if it's cryptid related or super fire related.
What's super fire?
When fire's hotter than fire. Lava. You ever heard of lava? That's a form of super fire.
Is it? How many types of super fire are there?
There's 4.
Okay.
There's lava. There's hot lava.
Yep.
There's laser fire.
Yes.
And there's heat ray.
Yeah. I was thinking heat ray, but I wasn't sure. So
yeah,
I'm glad that one was right.
You don't have the background that I do.
I don't.
What is the deadliest form of super fire?
Probably alien piss.
Wait, so is that a 5th form?
Well, I mean, I just didn't even want to mention it because I don't want to freak the squares out.
Right.
Too late.
Yes, it is a fifth form.
Is that related to blue avians at all? Is that a blue avian?
Yeah, blue avians piss, alien piss, and it is hotter than a flaming hot Cheeto.
We're having Andy Cap hot fries. Do you guys ever eat
I
those?
still
I
have
remember
those. My
You
mom
still
would
have
get
them?
those.
Why did anyone think that Andy Cap needed to be a mascot or spokesperson or anything for a hot fry product? Like, what's the
You
connection?
bought it. It worked on you.
I was aware of it. I didn't buy it.
I don't know anything about Andy Cap or his origin story.
Andy is a working class figure who never actually works, living in Hartlepool, a harbour town in County Durham in northeast England. But here's something I didn't know about Andy Cap. Andy Cap's name is a pun on the local pronunciation of handicap.
Oh, so they're even worse.
Andy Cap. I get it. Andy Cap.
You know, hearing it from you, Mike, again, it makes sense with your masterful understanding of British accent.
Well, I mean, that's what about, master of dialects. No, Master Mike, master of dialects. I'm a master of snow cones, master of dialects,
Superfire.
and superfire.
That's a callback to 2 minutes ago.
Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
So, you guys ready to get started here?
I think
Wait,
we're already
wait.
started. I think
What are
we're
we
up
doing?
and going.
All right. Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with...
I am Brian Camp.
My name is Mike Wiebe. And in the dark depths of the audio jungle, he's changed his name to Dr. Dank Meme. Mark Ryan.
You can just call me Doc.
Doc
Oh.
Dank Meme. It
That's
seems like we might have a guest today, too.
Yeah, we've got a guest here. He is our graphic designer and the finest tattoo artist in the Pacific Northwest. We've got Mike Tidwell. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good. Thank you for having me. I don't know if that last part was true, but thank you.
No, it's true.
It's true.
We
I
asked
looked it up in the
around.
dictionary.
That's very kind. Thank you.
around.
I've seen all the other tattoo artists up there. They can barely do Taz.
And for the listener, I know he sounds modest, but trust me, he lets us know he's the best tattoo artist. in the
Yeah.
Northwest.
Oh, stop.
He's made it very clear.
At the end of the episode, we'll give you a link to his what is it? You have you on Instagram with all your
Instagram,
tattoos
yeah.
on. They can
Fucking
check
give it
out.
now. Give it right now.
All right, we'll do it both times. What's your Instagram?
Mike A. Tidwell.
Mike A.
That's it.
Tidwell at Instagram.
Was that so fucking hard, Kevin?
How long have you been tattooing, Mike?
22 years.
And he's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
You ever tattooed a butthole around a butthole?
No. I've had requests for it, but no, you can't pay me enough to do that.
What about a penis or a scrotum?
Yes, I have tattooed the shaft before.
Ooh,
Not the
That's
whole
from-
thing. The guy just
racing
wanted.
stripes.
No, he just wanted a pink triangle the size of a dime there.
Was it a turgid? Was
Was it what?
engorged? Was it?
No.
That is a
It-
good question.
No, there's no. It's so painful that
Did he fluff it up a little bit though?
he tried, but it just flew right back inside him like it was a cold
man.
day. It was just. You get a needle at it, and
Use chip clips to pin it down?
I did know a guy. I did work with a guy once that tattooed a scrotum, like 2 pairs of dice on a scrotum, and I was thinking, how are you going to do that? So I left the shop, went to the store, came back. He had the guy's scrotum stretched over a tennis ball and was tattooing
wow.
it to stretch the skin. I'm like, that's pretty brilliant. I would not have thought of that. He knew the guy was coming. He set the appointment days before, so he went out and bought a tennis ball and had it prepared.
Wow.
So yeah, he just put gloves on, scratched the scrotum over it, and tattooed.
Did he heat it up to make it more stretchy?
No, I don't think so. I think he may have cranked the heat up in the room. So yeah.
You know what? I'm making a life decision to not get my scrotum tattooed because I don't think it would look very
That's
good.
a good decision. Yeah, it's especially put dice on it. So yeah.
Dice. Like, what do you like? What's like the? Hey, you're taking your chances getting pregnant.
Yeah, we never asked him the meaning, but he just wanted a pair of dice.
Was there a number that the dice were landing on?
I think it was 7. Yeah.
Oh well.
He did a 5 and a 2. So.
Craps.
Bones.
Hey, if you're gonna tattoo craps on someone, it should be near their butthole.
Yeah.
Man, this podcast is good.
Yeah.
Getting better all the time.
Let me ask you guys something, because this does bring up a question for me, and you guys are married and I'm not. If you're getting your your scrotum tattooed, are you going to tell your wife ahead of time, or are you just going to like surprise her? Like wait for her to discover it?
I mean, my wife's never seen me naked, but
Yeah. I'm trying to think of our weekly scrotum inspections and how that might go.
yeah, no, I think the thing to do is you get it tattooed and then you don't say anything and then you throw a fit because she didn't notice.
Right.
Well, learning from another customer's mistake, this was a few months ago, he came in to get a portrait of his wife's face on his rib cage, but dressed like Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad movies. So I said, okay.
I hate this guy so much.
Oh, dude, yeah. So I did it. I started it, and he sat like 4 hours and tapped out, and I expected it to take 2 sessions. So in the middle of tattooing, I'm like, so your wife must be a huge Harley Quinn fan. He's like, no, she doesn't know I'm getting this. I'm going to surprise her. And I'm like, okay. And he never came back for his second appointment. So to answer that question, yeah, I think I'd tell my wife I was going to do that.
Yeah. He just really, really wants her to dress up like Harley Quinn when he fucks her. Some sort of role play situation happened.
Yeah.
Now, what if that guy's wife was Margot Robbie in this situation?
It's not.
Oh, it wasn't, because he gave me a picture of his wife to put her face there.
Oh,
yeah.
But they looked alike, I'm sure. I'm sure it was also a stunningly attractive.
She was attractive, but I don't know why he felt she had to be.
Was she though?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, she was.
I don't think that a woman who would marry a man who would ask someone to make that woman into Harley Quinn could possibly be attractive. I just don't see it happening.
I will have to find some photos and send them. So
yeah, that's right.
We'll post those.
Absolutely, we'll post those.
What if I fall in love with those photos and do everything to track her down?
I hope you track her down with the completed tattoo. You're like, your husband only went halfway, but look at this. Look what I did for you.
I wish he'd come back. I'd like to finish it. So even if he's not with her anymore, I'd still like to finish it.
I was wondering, do you like doing portraits? Are portraits something that are fun to do, or is it just because you can kind of fudge other stuff, right? You can kind of like make small things work, but that's got to look exactly like the thing you've been given, right?
Taz's eye can be a little bit wonky because he's Taz. He's crazy.
Yeah, I don't particularly like doing it. I can do it, but it's not the thing. I'd rather draw something, and most people, they bring in portraits. It's like you pretty much just trace a photograph, the outline. I can freehand draw a portrait, but I don't freehand tattoo a portrait on somebody. Yeah, I'd rather do freehand drawing. I've always liked doing that. So that's why when you see a lot of like popular Japanese traditional and stuff, because it's fun to draw that stuff. You get to, it doesn't have to be as exact as a face. And
one of my favorite genres of tattoo is the dead rock star or rapper portrait that is poorly done. It's literally like, I love a poorly proportioned fucking Kurt Cobain or just an awful Tupac. Like, it is one of my favorite things in the world.
Those are great. I have seen those pictures of those, and yeah, they're funny. They look great on other people, but yeah.
Yeah, I have a badly proportioned Dean Martin.
Got one ear's just a little bit too big.
One ear's
Doesn't quite make
weird,
sense.
and yeah, he looks like he's had a stroke.
Right. Instead of charmingly tipsy, he looks like
he
he's
looks
stroked
like he's
out.
had a stroke. And then and then I have Jerry Lewis on the other breast, and he's doing like a big Jerry Lewis face, but it's a little too big to where it makes him look demonic. And then under it, it just says in script, it says Flavin.
It's laugh today, cry tomorrow. Have you ever had somebody come in, say, with a picture of Mike's tattoo, and you see it and you're like, oh, this is not a good tattoo, but that's the whole point? Has anyone ever asked you to give them a tattoo that was intentionally bad because they just like the idea of a bad tattoo so much?
Yeah.
And is it hard for you to do, knowing that bad tattoo will be attributed to you?
Well, I don't do it. I had a guy come in. It was two guys that walked in, and the guy said, hey, the first guy said, I want you to do a tattoo of the Virgin Mary on my forearm, but I want it to look like my friend's Virgin Mary here. And I looked at his friend's Virgin Mary, and it was a total hack job. It looked terrible. And I'm like, yeah, I can do a Virgin Mary, but I'm going to make it look a lot better than what he has. No offense, but I can do this a lot better. And he's like, well, I don't want it to look better. I want it to look like that. And I'm like, well, I'm confused. Why do you want your tattoo to look like shit?
He died drag racing.
I got the reason out of him. I've said, well, no, I'm not going to do it. And he said, why not? And I go, because I'm not going to put my name on that. I can totally do that and make it look nice. Why would I put my name on that? And he goes, oh, no, I'm not going to tell anybody you did it. I go, well, who are you going to say did it? I'm going to tell everybody I got it in the pen. And I'm like, dude, get out of here. No, he wanted it purposely bad so people will think that he served prison time when he didn't really.
Or
I'm like,
he was going to commit a robbery and make everybody think his buddy did it.
Yeah, that's stolen pen valor.
I did have a guy once ask he wanted me to do a crappy teardrop on his cheek. And I said, no, you have to kill somebody. So.
Said, okay, give me 20 minutes.
Yeah. And then he said, well, then he tried to fire back with, well, how do you know I haven't? And I'm like, because you wouldn't be in a professional tattoo shop. You would be getting that in prison.
Yeah, right? You wouldn't be wearing a North Face jacket.
Yeah. So.
I have a buddy who got, and I think this is amazing. He wanted to get the worst, and I know I've mentioned Taz tattoo because I just think, like, to me, like, Taz is the kind of go-to for like a dumb guy tattoo, which I don't think it is anymore, but there was a trend, I would say, in the 90s that like dipshit.
The Taz paid my rent for about 3 years.
Yeah, but my buddy got he got a Taz tattoo that he got a drunk, I want to say Frenchman. But a guy from a foreign country, he was on tour, he's in a band, and his name's Ben Snakepit, and he got the dude was really drunk, and the dude had never seen Taz, and the guy was drunk, and he free-handed the tattoo. The guy had never seen Taz, so Ben just had to describe to him what Taz looked like.
Oh God, this is good.
And if I believe, if the story's correct, the tattoo guy was right-handed. He did it with his left hand.
So he got a police sketch artist rendering of what the Taz looks like.
It is just weird. It is a weird blob with eyes and giant blob feet.
So it's kind of like Slimer, but it wasn't green.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it just says Taz in a way that looks like a 3-year-old was the first word, 3 letters he could write.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
Was he looking at it? Was he offering corrections?
No.
Or was he just
saying, like, so he's kind of he's just describing. I mean, maybe he used some hand gestures to describe what the body would look like.
Right. Did he talk about how mad he was at Bugs Bunny? Did that come into play? Was there any?
I don't know. I mean, that should have been, you know.
So there's this rabbit, but he's not a rabbit. Yeah.
I would like to do a Taz tattoo where the Taz is flexing his arm and there's a tattoo of a yokel on his arm.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Would be good.
Make a really reverse good. It. Yeah.
As long as he doesn't have face tumors, right, Kevin?
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's a problem with Tasmanian devils, as I recall.
Well, yes, that's correct.
They've got herpes.
They seem to be recovering.
Yes. Yes, they killed an entire penguin population, or so I've heard on a reputable news service
Podcast. This is a podcast.
of some kind. Is that what this is?
We provide. Well, it's a podcast that provides a service.
I was doing a radio show. Aren't we on the AM dial?
Not yet.
Mm.
We're working up to the AM dial. So, you ready for our first story here?
Yes.
All right. Our first story comes to us from the BBC.
Bad Boys Club.
Bad Boys Club.
Now, Mike, you're a regular listener, right?
Sure, I am.
I mean Tidwell.
To a degree, when I can, yeah. Jackie's heard them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we agree to call Tidwell?
Yeah,
Just
we
to
better.
cut down on-
There's
Yeah.
Okay.
too many mics.
For the listener, Mike will be referred to as Mike, and Tidwell will be referred to as Tidwell. Okay.
Yeah, if Mark hadn't already stolen the name, I would go by Dr. Dank Meme. But, whatever. You write something cool and somebody else steals it.
Right.
You know?
So this story comes to us from the BBC.
Bad Boys Club.
This is an update to a story we covered in episode 38 about Mr. Gox. Mr. Gox was a crypto trading hamster who first appeared on Twitch on June 12th and outperformed the NASDAQ 100, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, and the S&P 500. As a recap, Mr. Gox's trading office was a cage equipped with a hamster wheel and 2 tunnels. One tunnel was labeled buy and the other was labeled sell. When Mr. Gox ran on his hamster wheel, he selected between dozens of cryptocurrencies. Mr. Gox then decided whether to buy or sell the selected cryptocurrency by running through the labeled tunnel. Unfortunately, on November 23rd, it was announced that Mr. Gox died. Mr. Gox's anonymous owner tweeted that the whole thing started as a joke between friends about, quote, whether my hamster would be able to make smarter investment decisions than we humans do. And it turns out they were right. In just 5.5 months of trading, Mr. Gox's portfolio was up 19.7%.
I didn't recall insisting this was all made up. I think that was the position I took then, and I continue to take. There's never been a hamster named Mr. Gox.
I want to make money. Hey, I spent a bunch of money to get an NFT last week.
Oh, what'd you get?
It's called it's Mass Merge by PAK, P-A-K. It's a white dot on a black square.
I'm still trying to learn the ins and outs of that.
Fuck you guys, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Every once in a
Michael.
while, I have to advise somebody on getting on making an NFT, and then they never do.
Oh, so I have a question then, Kevin and Tidwell,
Yes.
and maybe this is what you were thinking about, Tidwell. If you tattoo somebody, they own the tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Do you also own the tattoo? And could you sell the tattoo as an NFT? How does that work? Who owns the tattoo?
If an artist makes a picture, like makes a painting, for example, and then sells you the painting.
What if it's a drawing?
Okay, if an artist makes a drawing and sells you the drawing,
Yeah.
unless there is an explicit agreement that says they are transferring the rights to that art, all you get is the physical picture, and they own the artwork on it. They own the copyright.
Does that mean that he owns the person's arm before he puts a tattoo on it? And then
No, they own the arm and they own the tattoo, but the design itself.
Yeah, they do own their tattoo. They can do whatever they want with it. If they want to go get it removed or covered with another tattoo, they can. I can't do anything. But I own the design that I drew up on paper. I can decide whether I give it to them or not. Sometimes I will because they pay me to draw it and I put it on them. But like if I sell a painting, they can have the painting, that's theirs, but I have the rights to the image, as in they can't go make prints and sell them because they own the painting. That's still mine.
What if I had a Virgin Mary on my forearm and Mike wanted to get the exact same Virgin Mary? Could you do that?
Yeah. I can do it.
So you could copy
that
another
could be.
artist's work.
Oh yeah, that would be copyright infringement.
Well, I could eyeball a crappy tattoo and make it look crappy, but it's not going to be photoshopped the same thing. The fact that I freehanded it would kind of make it original in mine, you know?
Okay.
The Virgin Mary is considered public domain.
Apparently not. That's why they called her a virgin, right?
Oh, okay. Well,
Hey, so I just found out something crazy about the story we just did.
okay.
So the name Mr. Gox comes from a place called Mount Gox. And Mount Gox started out, it stood for MT period Gox. And it stood for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange, which was a place where people would sell Magic the Gathering cards. And then what happened was the person who ran it found they could make a lot more money as a crypto exchange. And so it became a crypto exchange. And then it looks like it got hacked too many times. And they didn't actually have all the Bitcoins they claimed to have.
Hackers.
And shut down in 2014.
I don't like hackers. I mean, I like that movie, but
Who's in that?
Angelina Jolie, Johnny Lee Miller, Matthew Lillard, Fisher Stevens, Renee, not Roos, Lorraine Bracco.
Star-studded.
There are a lot of studs in that movie.
I would argue that hamsters do make better financial plans than humans. I've never seen a homeless hamster, so.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a guinea pig that informed me to do this NFT, and I spent a pretty penny on it, and I am hoping that it pays off. And I am not joking. I did get an NFT, and I am hoping that it pays off. And the artist apparently made a fuck ton of money off this NFT. Made like $9 million off of it.
Oh, so you paid $9 million for this?
I did not pay $9 million. I have a portion of that.
You bought a pixel, like a timeshare. You bought an art timeshare.
No, but how it works in a weird way is like if you own more, like if you were to buy two,
you'd get 2 weekends a year.
If you were to buy two, your thing would look bigger.
Is this a timeshare?
That's a timeshare.
No, but if you buy more, it's gonna the NFT is gonna look different. So the idea being that there's a whale out there, which is that's business slang for a guy with a lot of money that will buy a whole bunch and make his thing look whatever he's looking look real big out of status. So maybe he'll want to buy me out at some point. I think. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So
but,
you're squatting on art.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the goal. That's part of the art goal of it.
Okay.
Man, art's real. Hey, listen, guys, art's weird.
Yeah.
Y'all ever hear about this? Art? It's fucking weird. There's a bunch of, like, you can go up into the National Museum of Art in Washington, Florida. There'll be like an exhibit and it'll be like, hey, this is the biggest exhibit and it costs $45 million and it'll just be a cup with piss in it. And guess what? The government paid for that. The government paid for that.
That's Reagan era.
There was a piece of art called Piss Christ. Someone put a crucifix in a jar of urine back in the day. And yeah.
Was it Robert Mapplethorpe? Did he do that?
No, it was Andres Serrano from New York City, still alive.
I wonder how that piece smelled. Because sometimes my urine smells like soup.
I think we've established that before, Mike. That you have a soupy smelling. Is that your first morning's urine? Is that what you're drinking every day?
Yeah, it's very brothy. A lot of times, sometimes I don't even need to have lunch. It's so like thick and
a real hearty
filled
urine
with protein that I don't even need lunch.
Guys, ready for our second story?
Well, can we say rest in peace, Mr. Gox? We're sorry that you've passed away.
So our next story comes to us from Business Insider.
Maybe this will clue you in, Mike. On
hope so. Maybe
I've
they'll find
invest.
me the new guy. Maybe it's some sort of marmot.
I think a marmot's a thing. It's a separate thing.
Well, I don't know.
It's
still an animal. It's a
like
small fur ball.
Okay.
He's my fur. They're my fur babies. I like to call them.
Ooh, that might be one of my least favorite things to hear ever. That and forever home. I don't like the term forever home. I just don't like it.
The South Korean TV show Squid Game is the
seen it.
Has everybody seen Squid Game?
Can I spoil it for everyone?
How do you spoil that?
Late stage capitalism.
Hot take.
I don't know what those words mean, but I know that it's important to sound smart you need to, at some point, say the words late stage capitalism and act like you know what it means.
The South Korean TV show Squid Game is the single most streamed television program in the history of Netflix. But there's one place where the show is not enjoyed, and that's North Korea.
I thought you were going to say the bottom of the ocean where the squids live.
No, the squids love Squid Game. Apparently, a man who smuggled the show into North Korea and sold it on USB drives has been sentenced to death by firing squad. He was caught after selling the show to a high school student who watched it with a friend before circulating it to 5 other students. The student who bought the USB drive has been sentenced to life in prison, and the other 6 students who watched it have been sentenced to 5 years of hard labor. And there is some rumor that there was actually another student who watched it but then bribed their way out of it.
The Korean kid that bribed his way out probably went to the Korean Calhoun Junior High.
It's also believed that school teachers and administrators may have been fired or banished as a result of this. Last month, a state-run North Korean propaganda website said the Netflix drama highlighted how South Korea was a place where, quote, corruption and immoral scoundrels are commonplace.
That sounds like Mos Eisley Cantina, a twisted hive of scum and villainy.
Radio Free Asia, which is the equivalent of South Korea's NPR or BBC, has reported that bootleg copies of Squid Game have been making their way into the country for some time, and that North Koreans report the financial struggle of the show's characters are, quote, relatable.
Yeah, that reminds me of back years ago, the same thing was happening, but it was episodes of the TV show Suddenly Susan with Brooke Shields and Kathy Griffin.
How was that happening on Suddenly Susan?
No, it wasn't happening. They were smuggling in episodes into.
Who else was on Suddenly Susan?
Nestor Carbone, Dan.
I think Dan Cortez, right?
Dan Cortez was on there too. I think.
Was Judd Nelson?
Was Judd Nelson? Maybe. I think he might have been on Caroline in the City, though.
Those weren't the same show?
I thought those were the same show.
They're not.
Who's on Caroline in the City?
Leah Thompson.
Oh, that's right. She's who you got if you couldn't afford Brooke Shields.
No, I say you take that back.
British Leah Thompson? There's a British Leah Thompson.
You're thinking of Kelly LeBrock.
Maybe. Which one of them was married to Chuck Norris?
No, Kelly LeBrock was married to
Chuck Norris.
Steven Seagal.
Chuck Norris has never
Kelly
been married.
LeBrock was married to Steven Seagal for a while.
No, you guys are thinking of that lady from Weird Science.
No, that's who Kelly LeBrock is.
Yeah, that's her. She was married to.
No, it's not Kelly LeBrock.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
No, I've seen that movie so many times.
Leah Thompson was Howard the Duck. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lady that was in Top Gun was in Weird Science.
No, that's
Kelly. Who married Steven Seagal.
Oh, that's what I said. She was in Howard the Duck.
That's Kelly McGillis.
No, but she wasn't in Howard the Duck.
No, Leah Thompson was.
Yeah.
You guys
Back
are
to the
backwards.
Future.
You guys are real messed up on this.
No. Let's get back to the story. This is
guys. I'm really damaging my arm right now.
You know what? What do you need it? Why don't you go ask your wife to help you take your sweater off?
Not a sweater.
Or your daughter.
It's a very constricting sweatshirt. Just go on.
Go get a Rambo buck knife and cut off your sleeves.
Yeah.
Did you guys get like a flea market knife when Rambo came out? When First Blood came out?
Fuck yeah, I did. With all the fishing gear.
Yeah,
in
the survival knives.
With the compass on the handle.
The compass off the top, and it's got a fish hook matches and a saw that wouldn't cut anything.
I was not allowed to get one, and it was very painful because it felt like
I have a scar on my hand right here from where I cut myself with it. I didn't even show my parents. I just kept a Band-Aid on it for 3 months, and eventually it healed up.
That's what Rambo would have done.
Just like Johnny Rambo.
You should have lit the knife on fire. You should have put the knife in fire and then used it to cauterize the wound.
Your mom tell you it's time to come home.
Hey, you guys know this about Rambo? He could eat things that would make a billy goat puke. It's my favorite fact that they mention about him in that movie. He can eat things. He can eat things that will make a billy goat puke. And listen, billy goats, they can eat tin cans.
Yeah.
I've seen that cartoon.
He was schooling Brian Dennehy on that.
Yeah, I don't think tin can would be difficult to eat, but I don't think it would make me puke.
I have a follow-up question here, which is, how do you think Rambo would have done on the Squid Game?
I think he could have eaten anything that they threw at him. I tell you that.
They don't have that much food, really.
Well, he would have you know what? He would have eaten some of the beds. He would have eaten the bedding.
He would have fucked up that cookie.
He'd have fucked up that cookie real good.
He would have fucked it up and got shot.
Did you say Aiden instead of eaten?
Whatever.
Okay. Your war on words is...
I went to a holiday party.
We get it. I remember. That's why you were late. You were at a party.
Listen, and around here, we call it a Christmas party.
No, it's just a holidays party.
Bold stance.
It was just Christmas.
This next story was submitted by Philip Pampers. You guys might remember a couple months ago, Philip sent us some amazing artwork where he mashed up the Rim Reaper with an INS episode.
Yeah, he did.
You guys remember this? He's a quality person, and this is maybe the weirdest story that we've ever done. But I just want to say to the listener, Philip's artwork was a little X-rated, so I put it on the Patreon. So if you really want to see it, and it is worth seeing, go to the Patreon and give us $1, and you can scroll down and see this amazing work of art.
Should we really be selling his? I think we.
I can't put it on most social media without it getting taken down.
Describe it slow.
Use your words of language.
Okay, my words of language. So it's the Rim Reaper design.
Okay.
What is that exactly?
Yeah, describe the Rim Reaper and describe it slowly.
So it's like a plate with a big puckered butthole and some drizzle coming off that, as though it had been recently
drizzle.
reaped.
Now, what do you mean drizzle? Drizzle, that's a vague word. I need it.
Little drizzle coming off the butthole. Drizzle. And then it's on a plate with a fork on one side and a knife on the other side. And then in the bottom corner is former President Gerald Ford looking right up at where the pucker is, and he's got a big thumbs up and a button that says win. Oh, and then above it at the very top it says Squeaky Frome.
Squeaky Frome, that's right.
Wow.
Quality piece of artwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, wait, hold on. Can we turn that thing into an NFT?
Oh yeah, we're doing that.
It's not ours. I feel like Mr. Pampers should be involved in this in these decisions.
Well, we should ask him if he wants to make this into an NFT, and then guess what? Crypto.
We can divide it up into weekends and sell it off piece by piece.
We can timeshare the crypto.
Okay, so this story comes to us from the New York Post. Recent reporting has shown a substantial uptick in airline passengers behaving badly.
Oh, yeah.
And a recent flight from Syracuse, New York to Atlanta, Georgia was no exception.
Syracuse, New York to Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
So these were people leaving Syracuse, New York.
Yes.
All right, this all tracks.
An unnamed woman on the flight was... Let me read you the entry from the plane's in-flight messaging system. It said, a passenger in seat 13A, quote, is breastfeeding a cat and will not put cat back in its carrier when flight attendant requested. One of the flight attendants later explained, quote, this woman had one of those, hairless cats swaddled up in a blanket so it looked like a baby. Her shirt was up and she was trying to get the cat to latch and she wouldn't put the cat back in the carrier and the cat was screaming for its life. She also said security became involved when the plane was still in flight. It's also unclear what happened once the plane touched down, but the in-flight message system said Delta's security was requested. Delta has a policy allowing dogs, cats, and birds on flights as long as they fit in small, ventilated carriers, and Delta's policy on breastfeeding states, quote, Delta fully supports a woman's right to breastfeed on board Delta and Delta Connection aircraft and in Delta facilities. Breast pumps are allowed on board. Nothing in this policy, however, limits breastfeeding to human babies.
Yep, this is there's no rule that says a dog can't play football type situation. This is a very Air Bud situation. Now, as a celestial lawyer, some of this does get down into plane law because planes fly very close to the celestial realm. This is a tough one because there is no rule that says you can't breastfeed a cat. The only thing I'm hearing weird is that the cat did not seem to want to be breastfed.
I feel sorry for the poor bastard that bought the seat next to her.
That's right.
And like how long he watched in his peripheral vision before he was forced to turn his head and look at what was happening and question his own sanity.
Seems like he should be allowed, and in no other case should this be the thing. But in this case alone, that passenger sitting next to her should be allowed to publicly masturbate.
Yeah, totally.
Here's the thing: if you're gonna try and get cats to get into breast milk, you're gonna have to squirt it at them from far away first before they come up to you. And I think that was this lady's problem.
It's like a water bottle, though. They would. You think they would like that?
You just squirt it in their face, and they just lick their chops. Just squirt it in the kitty cat's face, and he's just gonna sit there licking his chops. And then you hit him in the eye, and it's real cute because he or she looks kind of like annoyed by it, but then they just like lick their face. And honestly, you do that, I bet it's fun for everyone. Like, it's the actual putting the breast into the cat's mouth that's the issue here. You just gotta you gotta just squirt it, and then everybody's laughing and giggling a good time, and then who knows, maybe somebody a couple rows over is like, give me some of that, and she squirts it over at them, and they like open their mouth, and see, that's when you turn you gotta make lemons out of lemonade, and that's the kind of situation where something's not working that you gotta just make it work.
I would have taken pictures.
I would have too. I would have taken a lot of pictures.
Yeah. Just for me, though.
Yeah, I would sell. I would sell some of the juicy ones, but most of them I would watch and be juicy watching them.
You feel like this is just the way people in Syracuse feed cats?
I'm not surprised. I've never heard anything.
It's time to feed the cat Syracuse style.
I haven't heard anything that much more positive or negative coming out of Syracuse.
That's a city I wouldn't be surprised doesn't really exist.
Yeah, it might not exist. It might be a fake place.
Wait, have any of you been to Syracuse?
No.
Jackie, I haven't, but Jackie has cousins that live up there. So.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
You ever seen them?
No, I've seen a couple of them in pictures,
Okay.
and I've known
Syracuse?
Pictures.
No,
Yeah.
I've met a couple of them when they came down, but yeah, it's everything. It's everything that you're saying.
Did their
it is.
accent slip every once in a while? There were maybe a couple Brits over here trying to get an accent down to be on take our American acting jobs in our TV shows and movies that get sold all over the world.
All over the world.
That's what the Brits and the Aussies are doing.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
You know, Tom Hanks is actually British.
Boy, my name is Tom Hanks, governor.
That's what he sounds like.
So our last story is actually a bonus story.
Oh.
So if you want to listen to it, go to our Patreon, subscribe for at least $3 at the Knights of Kevin level, and eventually Mark will get this to me and we'll upload it. But I'll give you a little preview.
Ooh,
this was
a
submitted
taste.
to us by a listener by the name of Mike Wiebe.
Oh.
And it involves cryptids. It involves Australia, and this guy's got to be on a lot of fucking drugs.
Who?
Me?
Mike?
Both
Oh.
the guy in the story, and I don't know about Mike. We'll just let that one slide. So, hey, Mike.
Yeah?
Where can I'm sorry, Mike Tidwell.
Yeah.
Shit.
Where can people find you if they wanna check out your art?
Mike A. Tidwell on Instagram.
And what if they saw one of your beautiful tattoos and said, "I need that on my body"? How would they make that happen?
They can either DM me or go to Hidden Hand Tattoo on Instagram. That's where our shop is, and they can get the phone number there, call, and set up an appointment.
And so they can just come down maybe like that day and you're ready to go?
No, they have to set up a consultation because a lot of the things have to be drawn up ahead of time. And I'm usually in there tattooing from appointments that have been made weeks prior. So,
what tattoo could I come in and just go, here's my idea, and you just go, cancel my appointment, get in the chair, we're doing this right now?
Maybe if I up my prices to $1,000 an hour and you wanted to pay that, I would cancel the people that are paying the normal $200 an hour.
So there's no
design.
like,
You've always
no.
Like let's say I wanted across my back like a bald eagle, and it was holding a skull in its claws, and then in the eye sockets were snakes.
Yeah, I'd love to do that, but I can't. It's first come, first serve. I can't really cancel anybody to get somebody else in.
Yeah, he has.
You're very.
Because then I'd have to tell somebody that their idea sucks and yours is great, and then so that's not.
What about Matt Lauer? He got canceled.
Oh yeah.
You get a tattoo?
I think he was like grabbing ass and shit, right? Ladies,
Yeah,
I don't know.
He had a button in his.
Yeah.
He had a door locking button,
he
right?
pressed a button and wouldn't drop him into a sex lair or something.
No, it'd lock the door. But
oh, okay. Yeah.
That's way worse.
So this episode airs on December 15th. Does anybody have anything coming up around then?
If they're listening to it on the 15th, I'm doing the Year in Review comedy show, and then on the 17th, I'm doing.
Where's that at?
At the Fallout Theater in Austin, Texas. The 17th, I'm doing the McEwen's Christmas special at the Fallout Theater in Austin, Texas. And then, of course, every Tuesday, I do the Excelsior comedy show at the brand new Buzzmill on East 7th Street, 9 p.m.
Nice. Brian, what do you have coming up?
Nothing. I have been to. For the listener, I have been to one of those year in review things before, Mike. I think I went to the one last year.
Yeah.
Did you do a live stream of one last year?
Very funny.
A live stream one last year, yeah.
Maybe it was year before last. I went to one I wouldn't have been last year, would it have?
Oh yeah. It was the one before the pandemic.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. I liked it.
Yeah. Who was the best though? Was it me?
Oh yeah, you.
Okay, yeah. It was me.
Tidwell?
I'll be working 12 to 8 on the 15th.
12 to 8.
Nice.
That's a good shift.
That's Pacific time.
Yes.
You
so
always
10
work-
o'clock. I get out 10 o'clock your time. So.
Well, he said 12 to 8. I think that was pretty specific.
That's why you need to go to the year in review, ladies and gentlemen, for
the first hilarious spoofs and bits like that.
I think that wraps up another week of the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. When you're giving out presents this holiday season, consider giving the gift of INS because it's free. Check out our merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.